Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Golden Ratio Podcast. I am Jen, GR Mom, joined as always by GR Dad.
Yes, hello.
How's it going, GR Dad?
It's fine.
Excellent, excellent.
Oh, boy. A little too enthusiastic, perhaps. Never mind.
It's Halloween, you guys.
It is.
Everyone's going to listen to this after Halloween, but we are still fully in the Halloween spirit here in the household.
I'm on a sugar high.
Also, you've had a few drinks.
Come on. Could be a sugar high. Wee!
The cocktail of the week this week is the Nightmare on Bourbon Street.
Yes.
A great name.
Great name.
That's a pretty good cocktail, too.
Yeah.
So the Nightmare on Bourbon Street is bourbon, apple cider, like regular old apple cider, lemon juice. It calls for maple syrup, but I don't actually like maple very much. I do eat maple syrup on my pancakes, but like that's it. So I used agave, which kind of gets you the like richness of maple syrup without the mapley flavor.
Canadians, listen away.
I'm sorry, Canadians and all of you like
Hide your
Maine,
eyes.
New Hampshire, Vermonters. I'm sorry.
Mostly Canadians.
I've actually made maple syrup before.
Mostly Canadian. Yeah, but you hate it.
I don't hate it.
Sorry, I'm binary.
I just like it in very specific contexts on waffles and pancakes, and that's it. Anyway, bourbon, apple cider, lemon juice, maple syrup, or substitute agave. Also, honey syrup would be good. Fresh ginger.
Yeah.
And sparkling hard cider. So this has like a cinnamon sugar rim, which is delish. I don't like salt rims, but I
would
love
highly
this.
recommend this drink. It's full of surprises.
Yeah. If you want to rim a glass with like whatever you're going to rim it with. Tajin, also really good rim, like if you're making a margarita.
Tajin is spicy hot pepper.
Chili.
Yes, but it has a little bit of zing.
Yeah, like chili lime.
Mm-hmm. It's not sweet. It is not sweet.
Did you grow up with tajin in your life?
No.
I also did not, but lots of people did.
I was introduced to it a year ago, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, really had no idea.
We suffered with a lack of tajin. If you had mangoes in your life growing up, you have had tajin in your life because it's great on mangoes.
Oh.
Also, watermelon. It's delicious. You can get it at the grocery store. We just never had it.
No, we did not have it in Germany.
So anyway, tajin, really good rim for margaritas.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to do a salt rim, sugar rim, this is a cinnamon sugar rim. Just, you can use water, but it's best, like if you're squeezing citrus anyway for your drink, to just take like the empty citrus rind and run it over the edge of your glass, which will get it damp.
Man.
And then on like a little plate, pour a little ring of whatever it is you're going to rim with, and then just stick the damp edge of the glass in there and let it sit for a couple minutes. And the cinnamon sugar rim on this is delicious.
This drink is a journey. Do you want to hear my journey?
Yeah, please.
I smell the cinnamon and the appleness of it, and I think, oh, it's going to be a mulled cider. It's going to be like a Christmas drink, like a mulled spiced something.
Why
right?
would Jen make that? Because she hates mulled everything.
And then you drink it, and it's like not at all that. It's like it's fairly dry. It's got some zip. It's a really well balanced drink. It's got some citrus. It's a great, as I said, a journey. A roller coaster of only positive emotions. Like a roller coaster that only goes down if you like that, or only goes up if you like that.
It's kind of a cross between a bourbon sour and a stone fence or a stone wall.
Yeah.
Which is apple cider in bourbon.
But it was, for me, it was fun having it now because I do expect things to be mulled and have, like, I don't know, whatever the mulled spices are and things like that. If I smell cinnamon, I think it's going in the apple cider direction. Yep. And it smells like it, but it doesn't taste like it.
Yeah, you get like a nice whiff of it that's like lovely, but then you don't get the kind of gloopy I hate mulled stuff.
And this is where we disagree. I don't think it's gloopy or bad, but it's surprisingly fun, this one.
Yeah, and the fresh ginger kind of gives it a kick, like a little bit of heat.
Yeah, you don't expect ginger in a Christmas drink.
Unless it's like with all the other mulled stuff.
Maybe you should.
This drink is great.
I don't think mulled stuff has ginger. Ginger is expensive. Mulled spices, cheap.
Thanks to friends of the squad, Simon and Joe, who gave us one of those like squeezy tubes of ginger, which is like a great way to have ginger in your house.
Although we have
like when they were here in May.
We have some kind of 7-pound ginger root in our fridge right now too, that we've been carrying around for a month. It's a giant ginger root.
So I'm supposed to be drinking a little bit less because of a new medicine that I'm on. Like I'm allowed to have alcohol, but they do recommend that I cut back. And so I have. But I was like, man, like I've been like way into chartreuse lately, which is quite high proof.
Which is awesome though. Tasty.
It's so good. And you bought me a couple years ago the cookbook from the Aviary, which is a kind of avant-garde cocktail bar in Chicago that we've gone to.
Super fancy cocktail bar, a lot of things on fire or smoky or
interesting containers, very experimental. It's great. Highly recommend. And they put out a book that I think is called Zero, which is for no proof cocktails. In this book, we've talked about it on the podcast before. It's batshit crazy.
Oh, that's the one with
it's like sous vide bubble gum
process. Yeah.
for like 3 days to get this syrup. It's crazy. So they have a recipe for a herbal liqueur, a herbal syrup that is supposed to be kind of a replica of chartreuse. And I was like, fuck it. Like, I'm going to make it. It has like 40 ingredients.
It's appropriate for Halloween because it evoked a witch's cauldron to me.
I'll post a picture.
It had ingredients that I thought were cursed or blessed or magical.
It was crazy. I had to buy like tons of these ingredients on the internet because I'm like, I don't know
Eye of
any
Newt
of that
sitting
stuff.
around? Who has toad toes?
All right, hang on. Let me pause and get the recipe up here because it's worth reading. All right, here we go. The ingredients are water, honey.
Start with the exotic ones. Ugh,
We get there so quickly.
my eyes are rolling.
Water, honey, vegetable glycerin, fresh poblano peppers.
Okay, you're there now.
Fresh ginger, mastic, fresh basil leaves and stems, fresh parsley leaves and stems, galangal. I don't know. It's some kind of rooty thing that looks sort of like
to
a
be
ginger.
harvested at midnight on a full moon only.
Coriander seeds, star anise, fennel pollen, fennel seeds.
Fennel pollen. Am I a bee?
Fennel pollen, it turns out, comes in a little tin like Altoids.
I'm not a bee.
It looks like the pollen.
Who harvests pollen?
Probably fucking bees.
Druids.
Fennel seeds, tarragon, whole green cardamom pods, crushed, fresh thyme leaves and stems, orange peel, lemon peel, whole black peppercorns, coarsely crushed, cinnamon sticks, coarsely crushed, fenugreek seeds. I had fenugreek leaves, but you need fenugreek seeds, dried mint, whole Szechuan peppercorns, whole green peppercorns.
Sorry, fenugreek is something from Harry Potter. I don't think it exists.
Whole cloves and saffron threads.
Saffron threads, not even saffron seeds?
Saffron comes in threads.
Oh.
That's the normal way to get it. I put this stuff together in a pot, and it was like the most beautiful thing I had ever made. You see this picture? This is what the pot looked like. It's true gorgeousness. And my house smelled, I made this when I was up in Maryland. It smelled so good for like 3 days because like I cooked it, so the house smelled great. And then I like drained it off, and I'm like, I'm just going to keep this like boiled pile of herby things sitting around in the kitchen because it smells so good. My house smelled so good.
You should have rubbed it in the corners.
Is that you, feta cheese?
What's going on?
Honey. So anyway, it was extremely delish. Well, it smelled really good. The taste of the thing was like interesting, but it tastes nothing like chartreuse. And I don't know, it was fine. It was not worth like the $100 I spent on interesting ingredients, but it was very fun to make.
I have noticed you can now throw curses and spells. You can throw spells.
I felt very magical when I was making it.
Spells.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to catch it on fire. Did you catch it on fire?
There's no alcohol in it, so you can't really catch it on fire.
With enough fire, you can catch
I
anything.
can just mix it with
you do have
chartreuse, and then it would catch on
you do
fire.
have burners. You have, what are they called? Bunsen burners? No, you have a blowtorch in every kitchen.
I do.
Yes. I'm just saying.
It's
it
from
was
Home Depot.
freaking amazing, but it just shows you that alcohol is something interesting too and adds depth.
Yeah. So anyway, that was a sidetrack, but the cocktail of the week is the Nightmare on Bourbon Street. Great name. Very tasty cocktail.
Yes, I wholly approve. And if you want something that's seasonal but not familiar or boring, this is good. This is excellent. Good use of apple.
Yep. Also, try a tahini rim on your next margarita.
Change your life.
You will not regret it.
Change your life for the better.
Okay. You ready for Administrative Corner?
I love Administrative Corner.
All right.
Yeah.
It's 2 weeks until my book comes out.
This is the best news ever. It seemed like it was never going to happen. Frankly, when we were talking about it in June, I was like, yeah, that's not going to happen.
No.
There's never going to be a November. It's going to be fine. Whatever, November. That you might as well just say space time. Star Trek time. Star date 2714. The book comes out. I was like, yeah, right. Come on.
It has felt kind of like
Especially
that.
2.5 years ago when you started this whole project.
Like literally.
There's some podcasts where you're just like, oh, you're going to publish a book in 2024. And I was like, that numbers don't even go that high. There's not enough digits.
So thank you everyone for your patience. I am expected to be posting frequently about the book.
She's being flogged to flog.
It makes me feel bad because I know you all know about the book already. But if you're still thinking about buying it for like Christmas or Hanukkah presents for people, buy it from Amazon because that's what my editor wants, is for people to buy it from Amazon.
I'm considering having a serious talk with your editor.
You still absolutely can pre-order and get a paw printed version from Honest Dog Books, but I feel like we've saturated Honest Dog Books. So if you're just going to like send one to someone, like buy it from Amazon. There's links all over the friggin' socials about it. And I apologize that I'm going to be posting like almost every day, flogging the book for the next 2 weeks, but I am expected to do it. And I thank you for your grace.
Yes.
Also, buy the book.
She's not annoying like this in normal life.
We need about 6,000 pre-orders to make the New York Times bestseller list.
And the most they allow me to buy is less than that.
We are closing in on 3, so we still have quite a ways to go. We're doing tons of media interviews.
I just got a new credit card, so I can do it. But who knows?
So yes, thank you very much. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for everybody who's bought a book. And, you know, if you want to buy extras for people, do that. Okay.
You're doing a great job. Mostly tell other people.
Yes.
Tell people who don't follow the squad about how awesome this book is. How awesome this book is. They could be like astronomers, and you could just somehow find a reason. Yeah,
I did get 40 copies of the book, of the hardback. I had the galleys, which are like soft cover, like advanced readers, but I got like the actual book that's going to be out, and I have 40 copies. So we are going to be doing a giveaway in the next week. But if you have like a vet's office that has a bunch of followers on Facebook or a rescue group, it's interesting. I didn't even tell you this, Ingo, but
nope.
I emailed Great, our rescue group,
yes.
And I was like, hey, Great. So I like have administrator privileges to all our social accounts, but I don't want to abuse them.
I could shut you down.
Is it okay if I post about the book? And they're like, well, it's really against the rules. Like I could ask the board of the rescue group for permission. And I was like, you know what? Like, don't bother. It's fine. But it did hurt my feelings a little bit.
Stop giving them money, baby. They're fine. They don't even need money.
maybe a little sad. I mean, it was nice that they offered to like ask for an exception, but I was like, man, okay, never mind.
Politics in small groups is complicated, guys. People are complicated.
If you have a rescue group that would like a copy to like do an auction for or a giveaway, just let me know and I'll send it to you. Like if they will post about it with the Amazon link, I will send you a copy. I got 40 and I can probably get more if I need them.
Shelters, hotels.
Yeah, if anybody who has a bunch of followers, if you want to like advertise my book, I will send you a free copy of it.
Someone wants to
just
read.
Let me know.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so that's administrative item number 1.
Schools, we would give to a school.
Yeah, as long as you like email the parents and are like, you know what, you should all buy this book. Or whatever.
Yeah, school library, but also, yes. This should not be banned in any state.
Who's making those sounds?
I think it's the feds.
The feds.
It's the feds. They're at the door, Jen. The feds.
Okay. Item number 2.
Want me to let her out? I think she was just out. She's just hurting.
She just went out, yeah.
This is... why, would you all ask? Dog updates to follow.
Thank you. Thank you for not spoiling it. Okay. Item number 2. Thank you everybody who sent me this. It is exactly the news that I need. And I appreciate that we now get to talk about headline from Outdoor Life. Walleye stuffing tournament cheater Chase Kaminsky now accused of poaching deer at night. This is the weights in fish guy.
This is consequences. If he's always the rest of his life, for the rest of eternity, referred to as the walleye stuffing fish cheater, Kaminsky. That would be perfect justice and karma.
Yep. So if you remember, back in September of 2022, Chase Kaminsky
How could you not?
and Jake Runyon got caught putting weights in fish with the infamous
weights in fish
video. The first fish scandal that we covered on the podcast.
And still one of the best.
Absolutely the best. We have been following the cases of Chase Kaminsky, which included an accusation of stalking a woman and following her to her house in his car.
This is not a guy I'm terribly upset about being karma finding and haunting.
And one of the two of them, I don't know if it was Chase or Runyon, the other guy, got caught like passing a counterfeit $100 bill at a bowling alley.
I think
with
it was
his
Kaminsky and his son. That was the son was involved, for better or worse. Like, you're dragging your kids into it, Kaminsky.
Okay, well, here's a new update.
Get an honest job.
One of the disgraced pro fishermen who is convicted of multiple felonies for stuffing walleyes with lead weights at a tournament in Lake Erie last year has now been accused of poaching deer in Pennsylvania. Should I do this in my radio voice? On October 23rd, Chase Kaminsky was charged with 8 counts of wildlife crimes, according to Mercer County court records. The charges stem from accusations that Kaminsky killed several whitetail bucks while hunting without a license after legal hours and out of season, the Herald reports.
Cheating cheater cheats.
A criminal complaint filed by the Pennsylvania Game Commission Northwest and secured by the Herald says that game wardens were contacted on November 25th, 2022 by someone who knew Kaminsky. They reported that Kaminsky had harvested several deer illegally between 2013 and 2021. Wardens followed up on these accusations and searched Kaminsky's home in Hermitage, Pennsylvania. They discovered 5 mounted bucks that had either been tagged in another person's name or killed at night during that time frame, according to NBC4. All 5 of the deer would have been deemed illegal harvests anyway because, as wildlife officials pointed out in the criminal complaint, Kaminsky has been banned from hunting in Pennsylvania since 2008 due to prior game law violations.
Come down on this guy. This is taken to jail territory. Come on, guys.
Kaminsky is scheduled to be arraigned in Mercer County on November 14th.
No tears for Kaminsky.
That's
this
the day my
guy
book
sounds
comes
like
out.
yeah. He sounds like a miscreant.
The poaching case only adds to Kaminsky's pile of legal woes as they come on the heels of forgery charges that were filed against him in February. According to the criminal complaint in that case, which is still ongoing, Kaminsky and his 18-year-old son tried passing off counterfeit bills at a bowling alley in Hermitage.
Look, 18-year-old, disassociate yourself from your dad now because it's a bad road he's going down and it leads to consequences. Maybe not today, maybe not 30 years later, but 31 years later. And then it seems like it's all piling up. That somebody is paying attention to Kaminsky.
These forgery charges made a bigger splash than they would have otherwise because Kaminsky was already in the spotlight for his role in a highly publicized cheating scandal that rocked the professional fishing world in October 2022.
And this podcast.
On September 30th of that year, he and his teammate Jacob Runyon were caught red-handed stuffing their walleyes with lead weights to increase their overall bag weight.
And other little fish, let's not forget. The lead weights and other little fish. They just jammed whatever they could find into those poor dead walleye.
Video footage from that day shows the outrage that ensued. The 2 anglers were on track to win the tournament, and they likely would have been named Team of the Year in the Lake Erie Walleye Trail after having what tournament directors called a curiously unprecedented run of success. Kaminsky and Runyon pleaded guilty in May to felony charges of cheating, attempted grand theft, possessing criminal tools, and unlawful ownership of wild animals. Their ultimate fall from grace culminated in a Cuyahoga County courtroom where they were handcuffed and taken to jail to serve 10-day sentences. The 2 men were also fined, put on probation, and had their fishing privilege suspended for 3 years.
Excellent pronunciation of Cuyahoga.
Thank you.
I think.
Thank you to Dak Collins. This is his article for Outdoor Life that we just read to you. So,
those
fish
guys, man.
Scandal update, you guys.
It turns
so
out
exciting.
It was not just a one-time thing. This guy is a bad man, and he just thinks laws don't apply to him.
Yeah.
And he cheats through life, and that's bad.
I have a Google alert set up for both these guys, Chase Kaminsky and Jacob Runyon. So I know everything that goes on in their life that's newsworthy, which is
Yeah.
now everything.
I mean, look, this is consequences. The guy obviously he cheats at golf, right? I mean, he
obviously.
he can't. Yeah, never mind. It's just awful. Son of Kaminsky, please change your ways, man. This is not the way to go.
Yep.
You're not going to be popular.
You ready for dog updates?
Yes, I am.
Dog updates.
Excellent.
Feta got fixed today.
Is that a song?
Feta got fixed today. Everybody, Feta got fixed today. All the people.
Now it is. That's good. I think it's good. Yeah, you know what that means? She can't have kids.
I mean, that's pretty good. Me either.
That's what it medically means. But that doesn't mean...
I got that done too, Feta.
But that's unrelated to Feta's procedure. Feta's
Just
procedure...
saying, I had a similar
Feta's
one.
procedure does not mean that I can't have kids. It's not contagious.
I mean, it depends on who you're getting down with, Ingo, because you can't have kids with me because I got my factory shut down just like Feta did.
Yes. But not today. Not yesterday. Correct. And not by a veterinarian.
No, I had a real human doctor.
Mm-hmm.
But good job, Feta. Now,
Feta's vet is a human, by the way. Full
yeah,
on
I meant a
human.
doctor for humans as opposed to a doctor who is a
A
human.
robot.
This means that Feta has now completed all the requirements of her foster life and is now available for adoption.
Freaking miscreant. Nobody would want her. I think we'll have to keep her.
I don't know. I think we should put her up for somebody else to
I
take her.
think it's hopeless. Hopeless. I'm not giving $1,000 to someone so they can take her. It's ridiculous.
I mean, you don't have to give any money. Like, they'll...
Nah, with this miscreant, there's no way. And people need money incentive. Like, take this dog with this saddlebag full of cash, please. Look at that miscreant. She looks just...
Look at her little face.
Just rejecto. She doesn't speak English, I hope. You're very nice, Feta. You're to best.
I mean, are you arguing against us putting her up for adoption?
No, we should put her up for adoption, but no one's going to take her. I think it's just futile. The law does not require a futile act, Jen.
You would know.
It's the maxim. A maxim, one of 100 million in the law.
So you're saying because it would be a futile act, we should not put her up for adoption?
No, she's not market. Nobody's going to want her. I'm just saying, we don't need to put her up. It's fine. It's just count her as a fail and be like, oh, fine, we'll keep this reject.
So that's your proposition. We just adopt her.
She's just, look at that sad sack. No, nobody will want her.
Do you want her?
I guess.
All right. I guess we'll have to keep her then.
Guess, reluctantly. Jerk. Stop eating things.
She's literally like pulling out the little bottom from her airplane travel crate and like hauling it across the floor so she can gnaw on it. That airplane travel crate, which is now way too small for her, has become her favorite toy. She
The thing
shakes
she
it
had at
around.
19 pounds and now she's 38 pounds?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. 38.8,
Yes.
please.
So I think we need to talk about it some more, about adopting versus not.
Oh, okay.
But she's kind of hopeless. I wouldn't recommend her.
Nobody wants her.
I wouldn't recommend her to anyone.
So she did great with her spay.
Mhm.
And we do have some dog bodysuits, but they sent her home with one, which is the first time that's ever happened.
Very cute, forest green.
It's
very cute.
extremely cute. I think it's like neoprene.
It's
but
very cute.
You guys, if you haven't done this, like
I think it's a sign that our vet is doing well.
maybe, it's got their like logo on it and everything. Bodysuits for dogs are great for like post fixing procedures, either spays or neuters, because they just like wear the super cute little
They're
onesie.
flattering.
Very flattering.
Very slimming.
Yeah. Also look kind of like a superhero.
Make your dog's head look giant.
And keeps them from licking down by their bits, which is really hard to do. So
Yeah, because she's like a snake and she can lick around a funnel if she wants to.
So you can get them on Amazon. Yeah, it's way more humane than a funnel. I mean, like, not that the cone of shame is inhumane, but it's just like way nicer for them.
Come on, the cone of shame is cumbersome and a pain, right? They
Run
bonk into stuff.
Yeah.
There we go. Run into stuff. Yeah.
So yeah, so they sent her home with one. Even we had one, but it's great. And so she's supposed to, for 10 to 14 days, no running, jumping, playing, or swimming.
Have they met Feta?
I was like, we're going to do our best, you guys. And they're like, that's all we can ask.
For 10 to 14 days, be a different dog. Be some dog that is not Feta.
I was like, if we can make it 4, that would be great.
Yeah, if we can, that's right.
So we'll see.
Swimming will break her heart. We'll have to take her out individually and play defense as she runs towards the water.
Yep. Yeah, so that's that.
But it's okay. In the long scheme of things, even 10 to 14 days is not impossible. We've had month-long restrictions on things with ears and
for sure.
Scars, Brody's elbow and
teeth,
things. We've had month-long restrictions, and somehow the time does pass. I mean, I'm learning that time does pass, even if it's 4 weeks and it seems impossible, and you might as well just forget it and hang it up and, give the dog away and, move to a different state and sell all your belongings and die in the desert. It actually is never that bad, and 4 weeks do pass. It's fine.
In other Feta news, last night, Ingo went out, and Ingo is always interested in seeing what he can see in the water at night.
I love looking at fish, or for fish, or fish looking.
So he's got a real powerful flashlight, and sometimes we do have a Caribbean reef octopus that lives by our house, which is super cool.
Is that what he's called?
Yeah.
Tony?
Is his name Tony?
Caribbean? I don't know. I mean, I haven't asked him specifically.
You just decided?
I think I just decided right now. I think his Tony.
Let me make sure.
He's pretty cool. He does.
He's kind of blue.
Colors. Yeah, but he
Caribbean reef octopus. Look at this picture. It looks just like Tony.
Yeah, he flashes colors, and he's not huge.
No.
But he's probably, I don't know, 15 inches across.
That's about right. Yeah. Yep. If you Google Caribbean reef octopus, you'll see a picture, and it looks exactly like the guy who lives by our house. So sometimes we see the octopus. Ingo does this more than me. But last night he saw a shark.
Yeah, because when some ding dong wakes me up at 2:00 in the morning, Feta, I will sometimes take my flashlight and look around, because we have lobsters that are floating around out there.
Crawl around, yep.
And this was I was looking at Feta, who was thinking of going for a swim down the platform, and all of a sudden I see a big nurse shark.
Big giant shark.
It was a nurse shark, I think, right?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, or like a pretty harmless shark. But it was pretty big. It was bigger than Feta. It looked bigger than Feta.
And what did Feta think about it?
Not much. She
jumped right in the water.
Yeah, she didn't notice it, or if she did, she wasn't intimidated by it. She didn't do like a guac where she's like, I must jump on that shark. She didn't see it. She also doesn't chase every bird or anything. I'm more observant than Feta is. But she's small.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool.
Yep.
Everybody else is doing fine. There have been random ear infections. Vink's getting her shots and massages. So is Brody.
Vink's on Librela now.
Yep.
If anyone's tracking that medication.
The only other interesting news is that friend of the squad, Bahia, our neighbor's dog, is coming to stay with us Saturday into Sunday. So it'll be like a 24-hour, 6-dog household. Right?
Doesn't it? That don't impress me much, as Miss Twain said.
No.
Our
friend Candy was like, "Are you sure you're okay? It's okay." And I was like, "We are not going to notice the difference."
No, she
fits in great.
Low maintenance. She's an older dog. She's
13.
She's been here quite a few times. She gets along with everyone. She's not bothered by anyone.
Yep. No, they all just treat her like she lives here.
Yep. She's a good girl.
She's going to be easy. So she's going to come Saturday into Sunday. So probably in the snaps, you'll see an additional dog, but she's not a keeper. She's very well attended and loved, and her people are just out of town for a weekend. So
Yep. She's actually really only just visiting.
Yep. Okay. Any other dog updates before we move on to Taste of the Keys?
Nope.
Okay. So today is Halloween. Which means we just completed Fantasy Fest here in the Keys.
I didn't get naked at all. I did not get naked. I got not arrested. I didn't get accosted. I didn't see any live nudity. It was, as things go, kind of tame.
I was out of town testifying at a trial all week.
Yeah, which means I still could have gone. I mean, I'm a grown-up adult.
You could have gone and looked at the naked people by yourself.
That sounds more Dumb.
A little sad.
Desperate.
Anyway, Pulitzer Prize winning journalist, two
Gwen
Pulitzer
Filosa.
Prizes, Gwen Filosa, did have a God, I've had more to drink than I thought. A thread on Twitter.
Oh, a twet.
A,
You were going to say a
I
twed.
was going to say a twed on Twitter.
A twed.
Thread on Twitter yesterday.
With some videos.
Fantasy Fest arrests.
Oh, these are good. This has one of the highlights of the month or
So,
maybe the year.
You guys, Key West Gwen is her handle, at Key West Gwen. Follow her, please, on Twitter. She is a lovely follow and a lovely human being, and she has 2 Pulitzer Prizes.
And she's a dog sitter, so she posts fun dog pics too.
Yep. Great follow. And she did a thread on Twitter of Fantasy Fest arrests. So that's what we're going to do. Number 1, Fairport, New York couple jailed for indecent exposure after...
I remember this one.
Because it's like, you can be naked at Fantasy Fest.
No,
so
this one gets good.
what is it that you have to do to get arrested for indecent exposure when you're allowed to be fully naked at Fantasy Fest?
Again, don't talk to the cops because you'll end up in a story like this one.
And look, this is not like Mardi Gras where like you can show your boobs but not your lower bits. You're allowed to be fully naked at Fantasy Fest with a tiny amount of body paint as long as you're in the fantasy zone. But
which is a pretty big zone.
it is. It's many blocks.
It's actually
many blocks.
a lot of it is the fantasy
You
zone.
can walk around naked. So how do you get arrested for indecent exposure? Well, this Fairport, New York couple was jailed for indecent exposure after an FBI agent spotted them having sex outside Sloppy Joe's, which is like on Duval Street, the main drag in Key West.
It is one of the Knotenpunkte. It's one of the main crossroads in Key
Yes,
West.
that's
is
right.
the Sloppy Joe's intersection on Duval Street.
Quote, Brian said that he was not having sex with his wife in public, but it could have been his friend who was out with them, the police
This is the
report
best.
says.
Don't talk to the cop. How did this statement help you, Brian? Oh, it might not have been my wife. I don't remember. It could have been someone else. How's your wife gonna feel, Brian?
So the wife is a 59-year-old attorney. Her husband is 60 years old, and they spent the night in jail and were released without having to post bond. He also had some weed, police said. Some weed.
He also has a domestic explanation situation going
kidding.
on. The wife is like, "You don't think it was me?"
I was going to say, either he was having sex with the wife, and she's like, what the fuck, my dude? Or he was having sex with the friend, and she's like, what the fuck, my dude?
Why am I in jail with you if you were banging your friend, Brian? Also, friend.
No kidding. I was a good friend.
They were clearly together, and they both got arrested, and his statement is weird.
Like, you're having sex with somebody, and if you get arrested for it, they're definitely arresting the person
His
that you were
statement
fucking.
is nonsensical. They didn't
He
go
must
to
have
your
been so
house.
drunk.
He just made no sense.
I'm not sure it was my wife I was having sex with.
It could have been a friend of mine, and the wife is like staring daggers at him, and the cop's like, I'm putting this in the report because he did say it, and it's too good not to. And it's Fantasy Fest.
Okay. In addition, a 20-year-old from Westler Ma in a banana costume was locked up for disorderly conduct and resisting arrest after Key West police said he was urinating on the sidewalk and fled when told to stop. Picture the guy in a banana costume, somehow dick out, because he was
It's a zipper.
peeing.
He had a zipper. A big
Is there
zipper.
in the front? Anyway,
Well, maybe it's a big zipper, or he ripped it.
dick out, banana costume, peeing on the sidewalk. The cops come up and they're like, hey, stop that. And he's like, poof, 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 poof,
He peels
running
himself
away.
back up and he runs away.
Peeled down the street.
Running banana.
He was jailed after an officer, quote, utilized a leg sweep to take him to the
Leg
ground.
sweep. They're like, stop that banana. And the officer was like, whoosh. He's like, wait,
The banana
is this the
collapsed to the ground.
opposite of a banana peel? Is this a banana peel slipping on an officer's leg? That's crazy. That is backwards world.
Oh, my God.
That banana peel slipped on you, officer.
A 46-year-old woman from Santa Rosa, California, was jailed for indecent exposure for, quote, completely uncovered breasts in front of Sloppy Joe's after she'd been warned about it the night before.
Yeah.
She argued and recorded the officer, which, like, lady, you're allowed to record the officer before she was arrested.
The My impression of the Key West police is that they are very in the spirit of things, and they will not be dicks, and they really just don't want people beating the crap out of each other or shooting each other or doing really bad things. But generally, this is consistent, right? They warned her. They're like, dude, ma'am, you can't have your breasts exposed here.
At least put some body paint on
I will
those.
assume that you don't know the rules and you can't have your breast exposed, so please don't.
And to be clear, guys, you're allowed to be topless at Fantasy Fest.
Yeah, it's a little complicated, so it's fair that they're like, here's the rules, ma'am.
They kind of expect them to be airbrushed / body painted.
Mm-hmm. Or
So
like have
it's not just naked breasts.
seashells on the nipples or whatever mermaids
Pasties,
do.
100% fine.
Mermaids,
Pasties.
dime a dozen. Dime a dozen.
Absolutely. But I mean, they can be naked and just like colored blue or whatever, and that's fine.
Right.
It just can't be like unpainted and also out in public.
Right. Which seems subtle, but it makes a big difference in like the,
Also
the
applies
atmosphere.
to penises. I mean, we went last year.
Yeah.
How many like naked cocks did we see walking down the street?
I mean, painted?
Painted.
Several.
None flesh colored.
No, but they were like, incorporated into the costumes.
Yep.
Yeah, there's some confidence there.
You
that I
gotta
don't
work hard for an indecent exposure charge at Fantasy Fest.
Yeah, and as I said, the cops really aren't out to screw you. They're trying to play along. The people that will get in trouble are just the ones who are kind of aggressive. Like, they don't want violence. That's really the big thing, right?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Gwen Filosa, for that thread and thorough report of the Fantasy Fest arrests.
Gwen, you're doing the hard work. That's great. This is important stuff.
It's time for German Word of the Week.
Oh, yeah. I think I forgot. Hang on.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, this may be one of the things where it like shows my age, because I'm not sure it's still in new passports, but it may be. German passports, before they were biometric, like all the other passports in the world, they used to have a field that said, it had height, weight, eye color, and then it said unveränderliche Kennzeichen. Unveränderlich means unchangeable.
Unveränderlich. Unending.
Unveränderlich. No. Verändern is to change. Verändern. Verändern is to change around, right? So like unveränderlich means unchangeable or permanent. So permanent markings is what it used to be. And people used to be, and I used to think, oh man, I don't have any of that. It's boring. I'm boring. But because it used to be like scar on left cheek, or leg missing, left leg missing, or
Leg missing.
No, but it's like things that you can't change, right? Like, so the police would be able to find you.
You got that lump on your collarbone?
I know. I don't know if that's too subtle or not. We won't talk about lumps yet.
Ingo broke his collarbone one time and didn't go to the doctor, so he's got this lump on his collarbone.
Maybe I broke my collarbone.
Which I tell him, if he ever dies in a fiery incident, I'm going to use that lump on his collarbone to identify his body.
Yeah, I mean, I won't be as concerned about it at that point.
No, you'll be dead.
I will be dead. Anyway, unveränderliche Kennzeichen, people used to be able to put in their passport, missing a limb or finger chopped off in industrial accident.
Hey, you got one of those too.
I could do my, my index finger with the buttercup chomp. So now I have unveränderliche Kennzeichen. That's great. So I think people used to be able to put in tattoos too, or tattoo of mom on left bicep or something. So unveränderliche Kennzeichen. They do that. They used to do it, and maybe they still do it in passports in Germany.
Unveränderlichen Kennzeichen.
Now it's biometric, where they take your fingerprints and they put them in a computer chip into the passport, and it's all more sophisticated. But it used to be more like, if you have a facial tattoo like Mike Tyson, put that in your passport, because it does help to identify you.
That's true.
If someone's ever looking for you, that would help. Yeah.
Yep.
Unveränderliche Kennzeichen. Kennzeichen is
Kennzeichen.
Kennzeichen. Identifying mark.
Unveränderlichen Kennzeichen.
Kennzeichen.
Okay.
Permanent marks, would be the American equivalent. But I notice American passports don't have that.
No, we don't.
That would be good. It'd be useful.
What's the German word? No, we did the German word. It's time for Ingo Corner.
Ingo Corner is just like, be excellent to one another.
Party on,
And
dudes.
Party on, dudes. Continue to be nice. Continue to send each other cards of foods because it's freaking touching.
Oh,
And you know, be inspired by the chaos that is these dogs.
that's great. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for listening. Happy Halloween and Dia de los Muertos if you're listening on tomorrow for us. And until next time, Slava Ukraini, and don't bite anyone unless they ask you to.
Yeah, don't bite people like that.
Bye.
Bye.